River Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, WOR-TV presents New York Mets baseball. As today, the Mets take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pitching for the Mets this afternoon, left-hander Sid Fernandez, who is 5-2 with a 3.36 ERA. And on the mound for the Pirates, left-hander Larry McWilliams, 1-3 with an ERA of 5.96.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Kiner, along with Rusty Staub and Steve Zabriskie. And Tim McCarver not here today as he has attended the graduation ceremonies of his daughter Kelly in Philadelphia. And we're all set to go in the 5th game of this series, a 4-day, 5-game series. The Mets have won 3 out of 4, and they're going against the Pittsburgh Pirates here on what has turned out to be a beautiful day for baseball. This morning it was raining, but it has cleared up, and we're all set to go. And on the mound for the New York Mets, it'll be Sid Fernandez, a left-hander, and going for the Pittsburgh Pirates, a left-hander, Larry McWilliams. McWilliams, a man who combined with Garver to stop Pete Rose's 44-game hitting streak a couple of years back.
Well, Sid Fernandez today, Ralph, it's his first appearance against Pittsburgh this year. Last year he was 1-2 versus the Pirate Ball Club. A lot of shakeups in both lineups. Should be an interesting day for Sid. He didn't really walk very many people in his last outing, but it wasn't a good outing for him. It was really strange.
And Sid Fernandez also with that peculiar fastball. He's been clocked at around 90 miles an hour, but few batters get around on him. He hides the ball very well, and the ball sneaks up on you. And the opposition on the mound in Larry McWilliams, a fellow who pitches very quickly. He revamped his pitching style, taught by Johnny Sane, to pitch a lot faster, and he'll get rid of the ball in a hurry. So he'll be quick pitching, and Sid Fernandez will be slow pitching. So right now, let's return in just a moment right after this word from Busch Beer. Set to go at the confluence of the Allegheny and the Monongahela, forming the Ohio River. Free River Stadium, and the Mets against the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Mets with a record of 36-15, and in first place, 9 games ahead of Montreal. Larry McWilliams going out to the mound to take his warm-up pitches. We'd like to remind you this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Mets and WOR-TV and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets and WOR-TV is prohibited. Larry McWilliams with a record of 1-3, an earned run average of 5.96. He has worked 51 1/3 innings so far this year. He has given up 54 hits, 8 of them home runs, walking 24 and striking out 34. Lifetime against the Mets, 9-7.
And leading off for the Mets is center fielder Mookie Wilson. Batting second at second base is Tim Tuffle. Hitting third, playing right field, Kevin Mitchell. And in a rare start at first base, Gary Carter cleaning up, playing first base. George Foster's in left field, batting fifth. Batting sixth, Ray Knight at third. And catching today, hitting seventh, Ed Hearn. At shortstop, Rafael Santana batting eighth. And pitching, Sid Fernandez, hitting ninth.
And the defense for the Pirates, Sid Bream at first base, Rafael Belliard at second base, Sam Khalifa playing shortstop, and Jim Morrison playing third. In the outfield, Bill Allman in left field. And in center field, newcomer Barry Bonds. In right field, Mike Brown, and the catcher is Tony Pena. The umpires for the game, Joe West behind home plate, Billy Williams at first base, Steve Ripley, the umpire, at second, and Frank Bully, the umpire, at third. Pirates with a record of 21-29. They are in last place now, trailing the Mets by 14.5 games. For the Mets, it'll be Mookie Wilson to lead off. Mookie hitting .294, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs.
And Ralph versus Pittsburgh, Mookie is 5 for 17. He's got 1 home run and 2 RBIs and hitting .294.
Mookie in this series 5 for 18, and the pitch is in there for a called strike. Larry McWilliams, quick working left-hander, and the pitch back is fouled down the third base side. Oops. Mets have won 6 out of 7 from the Pirates this year. And the Mets with their 9-game lead, as you look at Larry McWilliams, 66-59 lifetime. The biggest margin they've ever had, dating back to 1969 when they finished the season 9 games up in the Chicago Cubs and became the world's champions. 1-2 the count to Mookie Wilson. And McWilliams tries the sidearm curveball, misses by a good margin, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I've never understood that, Ralph. A left-hander, he's trying to get a backdoor slider, I know, and that ball is hit well.
Out to left field, it's Bill Allman out there. Allman makes the play as Mookie puts him back in the warning track.
He came a little sidearm on that pitch, too. It's something that is not going to fool the right-handed hitters. Mookie got on that ball pretty good, just missed it. Allman checking his outfielder, checking the fence.
And checking the ball, and that brings up Tim Teufel. Teufel batting at .228 with 1 home run, 13 runs batted in. And the first pitch, ball 1.
The Pirates have a lot of guys, like a lot of clubs this year, who really have not played a lot together. And a lot of guys playing different types of positions. Allman, not your normal left fielder, came up as an infielder. Definitely going to be checking off each other.
And this ball fouled off. We got a nice letter suggesting that when Teufel got in a ball game that you would use the expression, when the going gets tough, the Teufel get going. And not bad at all, especially coming from the person that it came from. High pop up into right field, fielded there by Brown, 2 men away. The ex-mayor of Pittsburgh, Pete Flattery, commissioner now in the commissioner's office, ex-mayor of this city, and picking this up on satellite, watching the ball games. Not a bad expression, huh?
Yes.
So now 2 men away, and Kevin Mitchell playing right field, the hitter. Mitchell hitting .313 with 2 home runs, 11 runs batted in.
Against Pittsburgh, Ralph, he's 4 for 16 and driven in 3 runs.
And the first pitch, ball 1. In this series, he's 0 for 4. And that pitch is out of the strike zone. 2 balls, no strikes.
Hitter has to be ready against McWilliams. If you wheel that bat around too much, he's going to get you.
And the fastball fouled back into the stands. The count 2-1.
Pitcher Jim Cott seemed to be the first guy that ever had that quick pitch kind of motion that I've ever seen. Anybody earlier in your career, Ralph, that ever did a pitch like that?
Not as fast as Cott. Cott was very fast, and probably the fastest I've seen. Johnny Sain is the advocate of getting the ball and throwing it. Of course, he was a great pitcher for the Boston Braves, along with Warren Spahn. The old expression in 1948, Spahn and Sain and pray for rain, meaning that they just had 2 good pitchers. That ball drilled to left, extra bases. Mitchell again hits it hard. He goes into second base and goes in standing up with a double. So the first hit of the game as Mitchell drills a double into left field.
Well, lately, Mitch has been swinging the bat extremely well. He gets a fastball down and in. And as you said, he turned on it real well. This ball comes off the wall. Allman plays it pretty good. Almost could have been a play at second base, but Mitch's speed is definitely a factor.
That'll bring up Gary Carter. Carter playing first base in today's game. Keith Hernandez being rested. Keith hitting .328 with 3 home runs, 25 RBIs. Carter hitting .235 with 8 home runs and 34 runs batted in.
And against the Pittsburgh Ball Club, Gary is 4 for 19. He's hit 1 home run and driven in 7 runs.
Carter has scored a lot of runs. 35 to be exact, just 1 short of the leader, Tony Gwynn. Also there is Reynolds of Pittsburgh with 36. Reynolds not playing in this ball game. And there's a strike call on the first pitch by Larry McWilliams.
Both managers resting a lot of people in this particular game, shaking up their lineups.
Mets going with an all right-handed hitting lineup with the exception of their pitcher against the left-hander. The Mets against left-hand pitching 17-4. Pirates against left-hand pitching 4-10. Mitchell the runner at second base. Carter the hitter. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. 2 men out in the first. back into the stands. As they say here in Pittsburgh, a late arriving crowd.
This has been a weird morning. Rained hard this morning. The sun has come out. Clouds keep coming over. The sun keeps coming out.
Typical Pittsburgh type of day. City of Pittsburgh, of course, located in the mountainous area. They have predicted a lot of heavy rain for all the games of the series, but the Mets have had only one rain delay, and that was in last night's ball game. 2-2 the count. Carter gets a little chin music. And now it goes to 3-2. Full count to Gary Carter as Larry McWilliams works to hard-hitting right-hander. Foster on deck. And the 3-2 pitch hit in the air to center field. Barry Bonds in center. And that'll do it. So the Mets get one base runner on the double by Mitchell, and they leave one. And the score at the end of 1/2 inning, the Mets nothing, the Pirates coming up. Now here's a word from the good olds guy. He has a record of 5-2, no decisions against the Pirates. Earned run average of 3.36. He's worked 67 innings, given up only 42 hits, 5 of them home runs. He has walked 31 and struck out 61.
And leading off for the Pittsburgh Pirates is Barry Bonds in center field. Hitting second at second base, Rafael Belliard. In left field batting third, Bill Almond. In the cleanup spot, Mike Brown playing right field. At first base, hitting fifth, Sid Bream. Catching Tony Pena and hitting sixth. Batting seventh at third base, Jim Morrison. In the eighth slot, shortstop, Sammy Khalifa. And Larry McWilliams batting ninth.
And the defense for the Mets, Carter at first base, Tuffle at second, Santana playing short, Knight playing third. In the outfield, Foster in left field, Wilson in center field, and out of right field is Mitchell. The catcher, Ed Hearn, and on the mound, Sid Fernandez. Leadoff batter, Barry Bonds, and the first pitch by Fernandez is bunted back foul.
So far, Ralph, Barry Bonds is 3 for 15 in his series against the Mets.
Just recently brought up from Hawaii, hitting at 275 with 2 home runs, 6 runs batted in.
And since he's come up, Ralph, he's had tremendous success against right-handed pitching, hitting 321, but against left-handed pitching, he struggled a little bit. He's had not a lot of at-bats, but he's only hitting 167 versus the left-handers.
Made the last out of last night's ball game when Orozco, a left-hand pitcher, struck him out, caught him looking. Bobby Bonds, the father of Barry Bonds, and of course, Bobby Bonds, an outstanding major league player. And the fastball fouled back. Bobby Bonds, the closest man to being in the 40-40 club. No one has ever been in the 40-40 club. That's 40 stolen bases and 40 home runs. Bobby Bonds missed it on the home run side with only 39 home runs. 1-2 to Barry Bonds and the fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I made it to the 40-40 club, Ralph.
How many years?
Well, 23.
We're talking about 1 year here.
I know.
2-2. And now 3-2. Barry Bonds a good eye. Has a good on-base percentage.
I tell you, the people in Pittsburgh ought to be excited about the future of this ball club. They have some fine young men that look like they're going to be, you know, good, outstanding, some outstanding, but some very good major league players.
And Barry Bonds works out a walk. Well, the Pirates get a base runner on their first chance. And Fernandez walking his 32nd man of the year.
This is almost a replay of the game last night where the leadoff man got on many times during the course of the game. And I believe 4 times walked to get on base.
With Dwight Gooden on the mound. So the batter coming up is Rafael Belliard. Rafael playing second base in today's ball game, hitting 188 with no home runs and 7 runs batted in.
He's had 2 hits in his 6 at-bats against the Mets this year. In his last 5 games, he has swung the bat very well. He's 4 for 9. I guess he's earned a chance to go out there and play a little bit.
Barry Bonds at first base. The Pirates have been running on the Mets. They had 4 stolen bases against Gooden in yesterday's ball game. Now a bunt attempt. Carter will go to second for the force play there, and that's all they'll get. So Belliard bunts into a force play at second.
And trying to move the run over on AstroTurf. He bunted it too firm. Gary Carter in his first game at first base makes a nice play.
That certainly couldn't have been a sacrifice. Can't be bunting in the first inning unless you're Gene Mauch, and you played for Gene Mauch.
That's why I wasn't so surprised by it.
Leland, the manager of the Pirates, has been a conservative manager to some degree, although he does have his club running. Another throw to first base. This time, Belliard, a slower runner than Bonds, is on. Pirates have had 40 stolen bases in 68 attempts. Not a good percentage, but a lot of tries. Fernandez not knowing for having a good move. Not knowing for having a good move.
Sid's worked on it some in spring training, but it's still something that he can entertain a lot of more work on.
Almond has yet to have a hit against the Mets this year. He's 0 for 8. Overall hitting .256 with 6 home runs, 18 runs batted in. And that pitch, a fastball, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Bill Almond this year, Ralph, with runners in scoring position, has swung the bat extremely well. He's gotten 7 hits and 20 at-bats in that situation.
And Almond playing in place of R.J. Reynolds, who is the hottest Pirate hitter. I don't understand that. And this ball hit in the air to left field. Foster, a late start, but a lot of time to get under it. And he makes the play. So Almond a bid for a home run, but warning track power. Not a home run hitter, even though he does have 6 this year, and it brings up Mike Brown.
He makes a good turn on that ball, hits it good. Whenever the hitter takes a look at it after he hits it, he knows he's hit it well. As you said, George didn't get a great jump on it, but the ball was so high, he had a lot of time to coast back underneath.
So Almond back to the bench, and Mike Brown stepping in. Brown having a tough time against the Mets this year, hitting .260 for the season with 3 home runs and 22 RBIs.
Against the Mets, he's been 2 for 11.
And the breaking ball for ball 1. Talking about R.J. Reynolds. Reynolds with an 8-game hitting streak, batting .484 over the 8 games, and he has hit in 13 of 14, batting .418 with 3 home runs and 12 RBIs, and he's not playing today. Here's the pitch back to Brown, bounce to third. Tough play by Knight, but he recovers on the bobble and throws out his man. Knight has not made an error this year. So a walk and 1 left, and the score at the end of 1. The Mets nothing and the Pirates nothing. Now here's a word from Purolator Courier.
Don't miss the red-hot baseball action continuing Tuesday night at 7:30 when the New York Mets take on the Philadelphia Phillies. Live from Shea Stadium here on Channel 9.
And we're going to the top of the 2nd inning, no score. For the Mets, it'll be George Foster, the leadoff. In case you missed the action yesterday, Cardinals beat the Cubs 3-2. San Francisco beat Cincinnati 6-2. Houston over the Dodgers 7-5. Mets beat Pittsburgh 6-4. Philadelphia beat Montreal 3-1, and Atlanta defeated San Diego 4-2. In the American League, Baltimore beat the Yankees 7-5. California 8-2 over Cleveland. Detroit 2-1 over Toronto. Milwaukee 3-0 over Boston. Chicago 10, Oakland 3. Minnesota 4-1 over Kansas City. Texas 7-5 over Seattle and 3-2 over Seattle. So Boston leading Baltimore by 4. Kansas City in second place to Texas by 2. Houston leading the Giants by 1, and the Mets leading Montreal by 9. George Foster to lead it off for the Mets. And Larry McWilliams gets a called strike. Foster hitting .277, 10 home runs, 28 RBIs.
8th in the National League, Ralph, and has swung the bat well against the Pirates. He's had 7 hits and 20 at-bats. He's hit 1 home run and driven in 3 runs.
4 for 8 in this series, and George has been on a tear. In his last 12 games, 6 home runs and 15 RBIs. His last 25 games, 10 home runs and 23 RBIs. This ball popped up into shallow right. Moving back to make the play is Rafael Belliard, and Foster out. That'll bring up Ray Knight. Knight hitting .333 with 7 home runs, 28 RBIs. Knight is 3rd in the National League at hitting, behind Tony Gwynn at .341 and Johnny Ray at .337.
He's also 4th in the National League in slugging percentage, Ralph, with a .527 slugging percentage. And against Pittsburgh, he's 8 for 21 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs.
And the first pitch he called strike. Ray in this series 6 for 15. Breaking ball, 1 strike. Ray has had a base hit in 29 of his 33 games this year. 2 balls, 1 strike. And the sidearm curveball bounced to the shortstop, Khalifa. Sam with a throw to first base picks up the out.
McWilliams seems to like that pitch. Dropping down on the right-handed hitters. It's not something you normally see. But he's had some success with it today. You can't knock success.
Well, he's only pitched 1 2/3 innings. Let's wait and see.
I agree.
That'll bring up Ed Hearn. Hearn hitting .294. 5 hits and 17 at-bats. No home runs. And it's strike 1.
And that pitch was a sidearm off-speed curveball. I guess he's going to try to dazzle a little bit today.
Johnny Sain, his pitching coach in the minor leagues when he was with Atlanta, a curveball pitcher. Johnny Sain threw about 98 curveballs out of 100 pitches.
I didn't realize that.
Oh, he threw them from all angles, over the top, sidearm, underneath. Made the big turn like Gene Garber.
Yeah.
Almost turned around and faced second base before delivering the ball. And a fine hitter. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Taciturn, Johnny Sain.
Ed Hearn's had a couple of hits and 6 at-bats against Pittsburgh this year. Had a couple of hits the other night in the game he got a chance to start behind the plate.
And that ball fouled back into the stands.
Hearn has had a chance to play a little more than his predecessor, Barry Lyons. Of course, we're getting into the thick of the season now.
And a strike call, and Hearn is punched out by home plate umpire Joe West. A 1-2-3 inning for Larry McWilliams. Got him with a fastball, and the score at the end of 1.5. The Mets nothing, the Pirates nothing. Now here's a word from Ivory. It's about 13,000 a game, actually 13,691 a game. As you look at the crowd here today, has to be a little bit more than that average. Here today on what has turned out to be a sunshine day. Started out this morning with heavy rain. And for the Pirates in a scoreless ball game, it'll be Sid Bream to lead off. Bream hitting at .278 with 7 home runs, 26 runs batted in.
Against the Mets this year, he's 4 for 14. Has not hit a home run or driven in a run yet.
And the left-hand batter against a tough left-hand pitcher takes for ball 1.
And Sid Bream has had trouble with left-handed pitching. Against right-handed pitching, he's been hitting .306, but against left-handers, only .200.
And the ball fouled back out of play.
But has had a lot of success against the Mets over the last 2 years when he's played against the ball club. Ralph, he's hitting .302 in the short lifetime that he's faced the Mets ball club.
Bream acquired from the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dodgers didn't figure to need his services with Greg Brock at first base. Brock has been struggling, though. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And Sid Bream has swung the bat strong for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He has 24 of his 47 hits for extra bases.
And this one popped up. Tuffle calling for it, having trouble with the sun, and he makes the play. No Tuffle. When the tough kept going, makes the play.
It was a little bit of a dancer. The sun is tough. You see him shading the sun with his glove.
So 1 away, and the batter will be Tony Pena. Pena hitting at .242, 3 home runs, 20 runs batted in.
And Pena has struggled against the Mets at the plate. He's only had 4 hits and 22 times at bat against the Mets in 1986.
And 3 of those 4 hits were in this series. He is 3 for 12 in the series, 5-game series. No score. Fernandez with a fastball. It's fouled off. Fernandez has averaged 5.64 hits per 9 innings. In other words, he has been really stingy giving up base hits. That's #1 in the National League. And he has averaged 8.2 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's #3 in the league. Mike Scott, a former Met, leads in that department at 9.9.
Sid led in both those departments last year.
He certainly did. To give you an idea about the fewest base runners per 9 innings, pretty good stat on pitching. No modern-day pitcher is in the top 5. And that pitch way outside. The leader, a pitcher by the name of Addie Joss, who averaged hits and walks 8.74 per 9 innings. It's pretty good, isn't it?
That is.
Of the top modern-day pitchers, Juan Marichal leads the list at 9.91. Very stingy in the walk department. Of the active pitchers, Tom Seaver leads at 10.01. Hits and walks totaled up, a pretty good indicator right there. And this pitch is a fastball. And Pena, who seldom walks, picks up a walk.
Mel Stottlemyre works long and hard with Sid Fernandez to try to get Sid's rhythm to be as consistent as possible. It's just been one of the things Sid has had to work on. It seemed like he'll coast along throwing well, and then all of a sudden he'll lose his rhythm for an inning. As I said last time out, he only walked 1 batter and didn't really have a good go of it, which is unusual. Usually if he keeps his walks down, he pitches a fine ball game.
Now he'll be pitching to Jim Morrison, looking for his first hit in this series. He's 0 for 11. Jim leading the club in home runs with 9, 32 RBIs, hitting .240. Pena the runner at first.
He's another hitter who has struggled against the Mets. He's only had 2 hits and 21 at-bats this year against the Mets.
You think it's lack of rhythm, or is it lack of concentration, Rusty, with Sid Fernandez?
Probably a combination of the both, Ralph. Concentration, rhythm definitely coincide.
Don McMahon, who was an outstanding pitching coach, said the only man that he knew of the current players, and I doubt if it even exists today, that could keep his concentration for 9 innings was Tom Seaver.
Well, I agree that Tom Seaver could do it. I think there were some other people that could do it too. I don't think Tommy was the only one.
And the pitch back to Morrison, a breaking ball. The count 1 ball and 1 strike.
Certainly one of the best finishers. Steve Carlton would have to be. From the original Met staff, Jerry Koosman finished a lot of ball games.
1-1 pitch. And it's outside. McMahon said that the most important thing for a pitcher was concentration and not rhythm or control. It's the fact that he could concentrate continuously through 9 innings of baseball. 2-1. That might account for the fact that managers change pitchers so quickly now.
I think the starting pitchers have realized that relief pitching is going to be part of the game now. Guys making $1 million, $2 million a year who get people out, let them hit 150 against them in the course of a year, they're going to come out and pitch and close games. That's just the way it is.
This ball hit high in the air to center field. Mookie Wilson, who sometimes has trouble in daylight picking the ball up, picks that one up and picks it off.
Or from a nice cloudy day that it was, where the outfielders and the infielders on fly balls like to see some clouds up there. It's kind of opened up the sky a little bit here, and it's a tough sky right now, right over top of the ballpark.
That'll bring up Sam Khalifa. You hear ball players talking about a high sky, and that's a sky with no clouds. And here you see some cumulus up there that might drop a little rain.
It's all around, but when you're looking up sometimes, it seems like, where's the clouds now when we need them?
Khalifa batting .189, no home runs, 4 RBIs. Something you never saw in the old days. Players playing with averages under 200. Pirates have 2 in this lineup. Belliard at .188, Khalifa at .189.
And on that same note, Ralph, he's only hit 2 hits and 14 at-bats versus the Mets this year.
Khalifa, the shortstop for the Pirates. And he takes high in the count. 3 balls and no strikes, and Khalifa hitting 8th in the batting order. No no score in the game. So again, Fernandez walking or getting in a position to issue another walk. There's the pitcher, Larry McWilliams, who's a good hitting pitcher, incidentally. 3-0 pitch, a strike call.
Sammy Khalifa has had a much better record against left-handed pitching, hitting .289 this year. Against right-handers, he's only hitting .132, so he's had some success facing the left-handers.
He's an Egyptian. Don't find many Egyptians in the major leagues. That pitch fouled off. It goes to 3-2.
And the runner was moving on that play, Ralph. As last night, Jim Leyland had his club running all the time, even when they were down 5-0.
4 stolen bases in last night's ball game, and it set up runs for them as they came back from a deficit to get within 1 run and then finally lost 6-4.
There's no doubt it was an integral part of them coming back and being close in that ball game.
Runner goes obviously on the 3-2 pitch with 2 men out. Ball fouled back. Pirates have had all kinds of trouble winning in front of their hometown fans. They have a record of 9-20 here at Three Rivers Stadium. They are over 500 on the road. 3-2. Carter off the bag at first behind the runner, and the runner goes, but it's academic now as Khalifa is struck out. First strikeout for Sid Fernandez. And that ends the inning. A walk and 1 left, and the score at the end of 2. The Mets nothing, the Pirates nothing. Now here's a word from Manufacturers Hanover. As we go to the top of the 3rd inning. Only 1 base hit in the game, a double by Kevin Mitchell back in the 1st. And for the Mets, it'll be Rafael Santana.
And tomorrow, fans, tomorrow night on the $1 Million Movie, Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman star as convicts on Devil's Island. Steve McQueen and Papillon, Monday night at 9 o'clock.
Rafael Santana, the batter. Rafael hitting .167. No home runs, 6 RBIs, and Larry McWilliams starts off and misses ball 1. Santana batting in the 8th position in the batting order.
Rafi struggled against the Pittsburgh Pirates this year. He's only had 4 hits and 23 at-bats. He has driven in a couple of runs.
And this one hit down to 3rd. Morrison, a good play on it. And the out is made. So 1 away, and Sid Fernandez, the next batter.
Ralph hits the ball right down on the ground. Nice play by Morrison. Comes up, knows he has some time, makes a good throw.
Jim Morrison, a utility ball player, most of his career now getting a chance to play at 3rd base for the full season.
And taking well advantage of it.
And here's Sid Fernandez. Sid free for 23, hitting .130. 1 strike to count. And strike 2. Sid wearing that number 50 for the 50th state. Hawaii, born in Kaneohe on Oahu. And he struck out in 3 pitches. That sidearm curveball working for the left-hander there, Rusty.
Yeah, that's against a left-handed, and not only a left-hander, but a left-handed pitcher. I don't think Sid's going to handle that one too well. It's just a slow sidearm hook. I think Sidney's going to have to take a lot more BP if he's going to handle that one.
Second strikeout for McWilliams, and it brings up Mookie Wilson. Mookie fried the deep left his first time up. Hitting at .294 for the year. And this one on the ground to the second base side. Belliard fields it, and the Mets go quietly. 7 in a row by McWilliams. And the score at the end of 2.5 innings. The Mets nothing, the Pirates nothing. Now here's a word from Time Magazine.
On my way to the ballpark, I carry my equipment in my RC Cola sports bag, including my cap, my glove, my cleats, and my RC Cola. And you too can get your Mets RC Cola sports bag on Saturday, June 14th. We take on the Pittsburgh Pirates at 1:35. All fans will receive a Mets RC Cola bag free. Tickets are available at all Ticketron outlets, Shea Stadium Advance Ticket window, or call 718-507-TIXX for more information. And when I'm not using my RC Cola sports bag to carry my baseball equipment, I use it for my extracurricular activities, like the beach. Anybody want to catch some rays?
And due to the heavy demand for RC Cola Sports Bag Day, tickets are still available at Shea Stadium's advanced ticket window only. For all of the Met home games, tickets can be purchased at all Ticketron outlets at Shea Stadium's advanced ticket window, or call 718-507-TIXX for more information. The best buy to follow the Mets this season is with the 1986 official yearbook. This year's edition has 96 pages of action-packed color photos and also contains a special 32-page 25th anniversary feature on the history of the New York Mets. Always a collector's item, this book contains bios and statistics of all the Mets. So order your 1986 New York Mets yearbook. Send a check or money order made payable to the New York Mets for $6. This includes postage and handling to Promotion Graphics, Department M, 160 Varick Street, New York, New York, 10013.
Okay, Rusty Staub. And now it's Larry McWilliams to lead off for the Pirates. Larry hit him 188 for the year. He's had 3 hits and 16 at-bats. Takes a pretty good swing at it, although he's handicapped against the left-hander, Sid Fernandez. The first pitch is missed.
McWilliams is 9-7 lifetime versus the Mets, has given them a lot of trouble over the course of the years. In 1985, though, he was only 2-3 with a 4.26 earned run average.
And that one a strike and a strike 2.
And earlier this year, Ralph, he went to the hospital with some mysterious ailment which no one could find anything wrong with him. They checked him in, gave him a once-over, and he came out. I guess he's fine. He's out there pitching.
The idea about Bunny, bunts it foul, so he's out. You don't even have to make a catch on that one. Second strikeout recorded by Fernandez. And now with one away here in the bottom of the third, back to the top of the batting order. Barry Bonds, a hitter. Barry walked in a 3-2 pitch his first time up. Barry broke into the major leagues with an 0-for-5 day. His father, Bobby Bonds, broke in with a grand slam home run. One of 2 to do that in the history of Major League Ball. Did it against the Dodgers playing for San Francisco. And the fastball. 2 balls, no strikes. We mentioned that Bonds has a very good eye. For a young ball player, that's rather unusual.
And has shown extreme power to left center field, Ralph. For a leadoff hitter, that's a real big advantage, making an outfield be honest.
And he rips this one to right field. Going back is Mitchell. He can't handle it. And Bonds goes in with a double, and that ball hit.
Kevin Mitchell going for the ball here. Looked like he was going to get it. The ball just kept carrying. It's a tough situation for Kevin Mitchell. He's not been in the outfield a great deal in his life in this ballpark. Sunny day, a lot of white shirts.
So the first hit given up by Fernandez. A misjudged fly ball in right. And the batter will be Rafael Belliard. Pirates with their first runner in scoring position. It comes with 1 man out here in the bottom half of the third inning. Belliard with a 188 batting average coming in, has driven in 7 runs this year, and he takes for ball 1. Belliard 2 for 6 in this series. One thing about Barry Bonds, he has shown that he can play with the big boys. Has a good swing.
Mets had shifted him over towards the left side after the first couple of games. The last 2 nights, he's shown he can turn that bat over and pull the ball to right field and pull it with authority, obviously.
He's got a major league ability, and fans, when you got a major league thirst, don't just reach for a beer, head for the mountains and the refreshingly smooth taste of Busch beer. Rafael Belliard played in place of Johnny Ray. Johnny Ray hitting at .337 for the year with 2 home runs and 34 RBIs. And a strike call. 2-1. Ray second in the National League in batting, not playing in this game. In his rookie year, Johnny Ray played in all 162 of the games. The second National Leaguer to do that. High fly ball to right field. Mitchell in good throwing position, but Bonds holds it second.
In the National League, at the end of the first inning, Montreal is leading Philadelphia 2-0. Chicago will be at St. Louis, Atlanta at San Diego, Houston at Los Angeles, and Cincinnati at San Francisco.
And right here, no score. Pirates with a runner at second. 2 men away in the bottom half of the third inning.
And this is where Bill Allman has shown so far this year. As we said earlier, he's 7 for 20 with men in scoring position.
And the former Brown University man takes the first pitch for ball one, looking at a curveball. Allman flied out to deep left his first time up.
I think he thought he had one that first time up, Ralph.
Started to go into the trot, huh? There goes the runner, stealing third with 2 men out. A dangerous play, and the throw to third base. And Bonds is safe. But it was close, and not a good play.
Well, as they say, it's always a good play if you're safe, but in that situation, there's no way you can take a chance on being out. Close play.
Stealing third with 2 men out is not recommended. The advantage that you gain is not that big.
Frank Pulley, the third base umpire, was kind of blocked from that play. That was kind of what you have to call as an estimated guess as to whether or not the tag was down or not.
So Bonds gets credit for a stolen base. That's his third in 5 tries. 41st stolen base for the Pirates this year. And this ball hit in the air to center. Mookie is right there. So that'll retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, a man left at third, and the score at the end of 3. It's the Mets nothing and the Pirates nothing. Now here's a word from Busch Beer. Reports all the sports like nobody else with double coverage from the Alberts on News 9 prime time tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And right here today from Three Rivers Stadium, coming in for the play-by-play, Steve Zabriskie.
Thanks, Ralph, and a pleasant good afternoon to you. It's Tim Teufel to lead it off for the Mets in a scoreless affair. Top of the 4th, Teufel will be followed by Kevin Mitchell and Gary Carter. And Tim tries to bunt his way on, but it is foul for strike 1.
That's a bug in the rug right there.
That's what the gunner used to call him.
That's right. The late Bob Prince, who covered Pirate baseball play-by-play for 25 years here, and plus used to call that a bug in a rug.
That was after they put the rug in.
Right. I hope so.
What was it, open the window, Aunt Minnie, when someone hit one out?
That was Rosie Roosevelt.
Oh, was that Rosie's line?
Yeah. Open the window, Aunt Minnie, and then the other announcer, you'd be good at this, Steve, had to drop a box of broken glass like she never made it.
Are you insinuating I might not have good hands?
I don't know about your hands, but your arm is really bad. After throwing and missing the cutoff man from 20 feet.
Ty Morrison at third. It was a tough chance for him, and Teufel is on at first to start the 4th inning. And they're going to give Morrison an error.
Well, this ball hit on the artificial turf, and you don't get many bad bounces, but evidently Morrison couldn't figure that hop out, and it is scored an error. So the Mets have their lead batter on.
What happens a lot of times on the turf is that second hop has a lot of overspin on it, and the ball will kick by you, and it looked like that's what happened to Jim Morrison. Kevin Mitchell takes low and away for ball 1. Mitch, with the only Mets hit so far, doubled to left back in the 1st.
My favorite Bob Prince expression was when he was talking about a star, I'd like to have his future, but then again, he'd like to have my past.
But how does he know that? He was an institution here, boy. They loved him. Off-speed delivery. That is 2 balls, no strikes. When you see the new all-new 1987 Nissan Sentra Sport Coupe, you'll say bye-bye basics and hello Sentra. Mitchell hits it a ton to left field. Bill Allman at the wall, and it's out of here. A 2-run home run for Kevin Mitchell, and the Mets lead it 2-0.
Mitchell showing signs of becoming a strong type hitter. He hits the ball high in the air, and he gets that backspin on the ball that makes it carry. And what looked to be a long fly ball carried to be a home run. And Mitchell gets his 3rd home run in his major league career. All of his home runs have been against left-hand pitching. His first was off of John Tudor. So there it goes, and the Mets take the lead 2-0.
And while we were looking at Mitchell's home run, Gary Carter stroked the first pitch into center field for a single. So there's still nobody out. That's the 3rd hit off McWilliams, and the home run to Mitchell was the 9th home run that Larry McWilliams has yielded this year. Here's Carter's base hit.
Al Carter going up the middle to pick up his 2nd hit of the series. He's now 2 for 11, and the Mets still have no one out.
And George Foster, the batter. George popped out to the second baseman Rafael Belliard in short right field, his first time up. But George has hit in 5 of the last 6 games, hitting .529 with 3 homers and 7 RBIs. In the dirt, ball 2. Mitchell hit that home run like Ralph Kiner used to hit those home runs. High and deep.
Carrying ball. That's the secret.
It's like that golf drive. Get that backspin going on that ball, and it'll just take right off. Three and 0 now to Foster. Carter at first with nobody out. George looking down to third base coach Bud Harrelson. And Jim Wynn begins to warm up in the Pirate bullpen. And George is hitting, and he hits it high and deep to left. But this one should stay in the park. Carter tagging at first will not advance as Allman makes the catch and throws into the cutoff man, and that's the first out here in the 4th inning.
Well, unlike Mitchell's home run, Foster doesn't get that big carry on his. It's high enough but not far enough, and Allman catches it on the warning track, or near the warning track.
So Carter still at first with 1 out for Ray Knight, who grounded to short back in the 2nd inning. And he takes high, ball 1. Ray has hit .342 in the last 33 games, hitting in 29 of them. He started out hot and has stayed that way. One and one. Knight looking at Bud Harrelson as with the count and the situation and 2 slow runners. He wants to know if the hit and run is on. But it's ball 2, 2-1, and now he's given another long look down there as the possibility of that increases.
And that's a perfect count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Earlier in this series, they pitched out on a 2-1 count.
And Knight hits it up the middle, and Khalifa boots the ball. Second error of the inning on the Pirates, and the Mets have runners at first and second with 1 out. Jim Leyland can do nothing about this.
Well, second error of the inning. 1 accounted for an unearned run. Khalifa unable to handle it on this carpet. And now runners at first and second.
And here's Ed Hearn, who looked at a called 3rd strike to end the 2nd inning. And he takes a strike here. Ed is batting .278, making his 5th start behind the plate. He's hit in all 4 of his previous starts as a catcher this year. And a ball got away from the Pirate bullpen, and it was retrieved by Mike Brown, the right fielder. McWilliams does not have a good walk to strikeout ratio, and along with the 9 home runs he's given up, those walks and homers together are not a good combination. Hit sharply to short, and Carter is doubled off second base to end the inning. So Hearn lines into an ending double play, but the Mets get 2 on Kevin Mitchell's 2-run homer and lead it 2-0 here in the middle of the 4th. Now here's a word from Nissan.
Baltimore scheduled against the Yankees. Baltimore 4 games back of Boston. The Yankees 5 games out. At the bottom of the 2nd, Toronto nothing, Detroit nothing. At the bottom of the 2nd, Cleveland 6, California nothing. Oakland scheduled later against Chicago, Boston against Milwaukee, Minnesota against Kansas City, and Seattle against Texas. Texas leading Kansas City by 2.
Those Texas Strangers no longer the Strangers. Mike Brown to lead off the bottom of the 4th for Pittsburgh. The Mets lead it 2-0. Brown grounded to third to end the 1st inning. This one up behind home plate. Ed Hearn may have a play. It looks like he does, and he makes it 1 out. And that'll bring up Sid Bream.
Ed Hearn handles this one with no difficulty at all in spite of the bright sun here. And the Mets get a quick out here in the bottom of the 4th.
Sid Bream popped out to second baseman Tim Teufel to open the 2nd inning. He's 0 for 1. And a breaking ball right in there. Strike 1.
Mine was willing, but the body weak.
Left-handed curveball against a left-handed hitter will lock you up sometimes. And that one catches the inside corner, and it's 0-2. Bream's hit 300 over the last 30 ball games to get his average up to 278 coming into the game. And he pops it up down the left field line. It's drifting into the seats, and Knight, who gave it a look, will not have a play. So still 0-2.
Bream from Carlisle, Pennsylvania.
The town that Jim Thorpe made famous.
Jim Thorpe, noted in professional baseball for 1 feat.
1-2.
He was the man that drove in the only run in the 10th inning of the only perfect no-hitter. Only no-hitters pitched against each other.
Way inside, 2-2. The double no-hitter.
Double no-hitter. This ball hangs inside. Bream just does get out of the way. Hippo Vaughn was one of the pitchers. That's a good name.
They don't have names like that anymore, you know. Oh, you talk about getting locked up. See you later. The breaking ball, and Sid Fernandez picks up strikeout number 3.
Well, this curveball really freezes Bream. And he knows it.
So 2 out in the inning, and the batter will be Tony Pena, who walked his first time up. And we mentioned that in that manner because Pena is a new man at the plate this year, and credits manager Jim Leland with making the difference.
The other pitcher in that no-hitter that both pitchers pitched the no-hitter for 9 innings was Fred Toney.
There's a ball outside. That walk in Pena's first at bat, his 20th of the year. And that's in the past been about a full season for him. 1-1.
Most walks in the regular season done by Babe Ruth, 170.
A lot of guys would just love to be on 170 times in a year.
Imagine going to the plate 170 times and walking. Mickey Mantle has a line that he's the only player in the Hall of Fame who went 0 for 5 years in the major leagues. Combining his walks and strikeouts, they averaged up to 5 years.
5 years worth of at-bats. Man. Babe had 170 walks, and most guys would give their eye teeth for 170 hits.
there's no doubt that Roots was the greatest hitter that ever played this game. He's at the top of the heap in almost every category. At least that's in my mind he was.
Foul back, and the count stays 1-2. And I think the #1 category he was probably at the top in would be the fear department. He was the most feared hitter, as evidenced by his 170 walks in the season.
Lou Gehrig hit behind him. That's 170 men on base.
Look at that headgear. Pena gets a piece of it, and it's still 1-2. Somebody ought to tell this guy that there are some caps for sale at the concession stand. Doesn't even cover his whole head. Of course, they're not used to the sun a lot here. Check swing roller down the third base line. Knight will have to hurry, and he just does get him at first, and a nice play by Gary Carter at the other end. So Sid retires the Pirates in order here in the 4th, and the Mets lead it 2-0 after 4. And we're back after this for Burger King.
Yeah. Doing the catching in this ball game, and right here doing the running as we take a look at the last play. Ray Knight has yet to make an error at third this year. This was a tough one. Got the half hop, handled it well, and had to get off a good throw from a running position. And he nips Pena at first base. Good job by Ray Knight. Boy, he has really done a glove job this year.
And his throws have been great, too. That's a throw he could not have made prior to having his arm operated on. Here's Rafael Santana to lead off the top of the 5th inning for the Mets. New York leading 2-0, and Santana grounded to third his first time up to lead off the 3rd. It's inside, 1-1. Larry McWilliams has been touched for 2 runs on 3 hits. Kevin Mitchell's 2-run homer, the big blast. Down to the second. Belliard. And 1 away. Belliard playing second for Johnny Ray. And as you mentioned earlier, Ralph, kind of hard to figure why Ray and R.J. Reynolds are not in the lineup today.
Well, they did play in the previous 4 games of this series, but they're their best hitters.
And R.J. Reynolds, a switch hitter, not bothered by the left-hander going. And, you know, he's only 26. You don't really need to be rested usually day game after night game when you're 26.
Well, the platoon system certainly changing this game.
It is for sure. Sid Fernandez fouls another one back, and it's 0-2. Sid struck out his first time up.
It's really a manager's cop-out. Because if you do put a right-hand batter up for a left-handed pitcher, in other words, a pitcher pitching left-handed, you take the second guessing away from everybody. You say, well, I played the percentages.
And that's not always the case because, for example, Tim Tuffle, whom the Mets acquired to hit against left-handed pitching, last year in the American League had a better batting average against right-handers than he did against left-handers. Popped into short center. Barry Bonds takes care of it, and there are 2 away.
But it's being done all the way back to Little League ball, and players get used to it.
Yeah, I think that's the most detrimental part of it, is not that it's done up here in the big leagues, but that anything that's done here in the big leagues is copied in amateur baseball, and they're starting to do it all the way down the line. And I think it's going to hold back players' developments, and also you never know what could happen to a guy if he played regularly. Mookie Wilson takes the ball outside.
Can you imagine back in the days of Sandlot baseball when you choose up sides to play, you guys say, hey, I'm not going to bat because he's pitching from the same time I hit him from.
So I can't be in there today, guys. There's a left-hander going. No, it doesn't make any sense. And I think, although it more often than not is a good idea, I think guys have gotten carried away with it in certain instances where they'll just automatically do it without taking anything else into consideration. 2 out, nobody on for Mookie, and the count 2-1. And he pops it up into foul territory. Pena has room and makes the play, and the inning is over. So McWilliams retires the side in order for the 3rd time in 5 innings, but the Mets lead it 2-0 in the middle of the 5th. And now here's a word from Manufacturers Hanover Trust. Podcast television premiere. Robert Mitchum and Deborah Carr rekindle a wartime affair when they meet again in Reunion at Fairborough on the the Saturday $1 Million movie right here on Chanel number 9. Bottom of the 5th and a 2-0 Pirate lead. And once again, here's Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Steve, and it will be Jim Morrison to lead off for the Pirates. Mets have 2 runs on 3 hits. The Pirates no runs on 1 hit. Morrison flied out to center field his first time up. We're talking about double no-hitters, the only time it has been done in Major League Baseball. Vaughn and Tony, the opposing pitchers. There's a swing on a fastball. The odds for a no-hitter has been figured out to be 1,300 to 1. The odds on a double no-hitter, astronomical.
Yeah, you figure it out.
And it's fouled, so it's strike 2. The odds on a perfect ball game, nobody reaching first base, 260,000 to 1. There have been 13 perfect games pitched in the history of baseball. The last one to do it, Mike Witt, did it on the last day of the season, 1984, and that's the last no-hitter pitched.
That's right. There was not one last year in the major leagues, and there hasn't been one this year. Close, couple of one-hitters.
Couple of one-hitters. Bounced right back to Fernandez. And Morrison a week out. Not 7 days, but...
W-E-A-K.
Right. That'll bring up Sam Khalifa, who was struck out his first time up. Khalifa struck out in a 3-2 pitch. Strike call. You know, Reggie Jackson has several records, but he has one no one else has. He's the only player to be on the winning side of 2 no-hitters. Catfish Hunter pitched the no-hitters, won a perfect game. 1 ball, 1 strike. As Sid Fernandez, who has pitched a one-hitter, works on the mound.
Pardon me, Rob. Were those when they were with Oakland, or was one with Oakland and one with the Yankees?
I'm not sure. I think maybe one with the Yankees.
Yeah, I think so, too. And that would be really unusual.
And this ball fouled back. 1-2.
2 guys, teammates on 2 different teams when the pitcher pitched a no-hitter. Baseball's great, isn't it? You can get into so many little subtle nuances, even in the statistics.
Football not noted for that, although there's one Pittsburgh Steeler fact that everyone knows. Trivia. The immaculate reception.
Franco Harris.
There's a foul ball off the right side, so Khalifa keeps it at 1-2.
A ball that was intended for a wide receiver ricocheted back, and Harris on the dead run toward the goal line picked it off the turf without it hitting the turf and went in for a touchdown, and the Steelers went on to their first playoff appearance and first of many Super Bowls.
Haven't seen Art Rooney here. He's usually at the ballpark all the time. That's right. There's a high pop-up playable for Ray Knight. Ray has run off the play as Santana takes it. And that gives you an idea about the wind here. That ball being blown out to left. And it certainly did help Kevin Mitchell's high fly ball to left and went out for a home run. So 2 men away, and McWilliams left in. He's batting with 2 men out here in the 5th inning. Mets leading 2-0. Let me wish a happy birthday to Dime Robinson back in the major leagues after some more injury problems. 29 today. That's strike 1.
Saw Donnie in the clubhouse before, and he's had a really up and down career because of injuries, almost annual injuries. And he was reactivated just the other day and is available today should they need him.
He's got knees like you have.
Yeah. I hope they're better than mine.
1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Larry McWilliams, who tried to bunt his way on with 2 strikes and fouled out. Two and one. Kind of a game where you can talk a lot, isn't it? Nothing going on.
Yeah.
Just pitchers.
A lot of tween time.
Good fastball by Sid Fernandez. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Larry McWilliams against Sid Fernandez. And James is struck out for the second time. 4th strikeout for Sid Fernandez. He has now retired 8 in a row. And the score at the end of 5, the Mets 2 and the Pirates nothing. Now here's a word from the good olds guys.
Fun part of my job. Catching is the tough part, the sweaty part. But you won't catch me showering with deodorant soap. I made a break from all that. A clean break with Ivory. Look, that's basic, natural, honest soap. Not like